Today I wanted to look at a very short and interesting idea played by Charlie Parker over a solo he improvised on the song Chi Chi. Chi Chi is a blues in concert A-flat. This really interesting melodic idea utilizes minor major 7 chords descending by whole step. I would argue this is a great example of Charlie Parker playing in a free or polytonal way that really takes him far outside of the chord changes. The end of the line comes back to A-flat 7 vocabulary using some cliche ideas that we've heard him play before, and then resolves very nicely to the 4 chord in bar 5. Let's listen to the idea. Now let's listen to the idea again slowed down so you can really hear how the minor major 7s work descending by whole step. Now that you're loosely familiar with the idea, let's look at the piano more specifically. The first melody outlines the C minor major 7 chord. Bird displaces the melody by starting on beat 4 leading into the top of the chorus, and so each chord is anticipated by 2 beats. Again, since this melody is not really a formal form of substitution, it doesn't really matter where he starts it on the beat. I would argue that he could play this idea just about anywhere and then resolve it correctly. So the first 4 notes create a C minor major 7 chord. If I put a C in the bass just so you can hear it more easily, it would sound like this. Then that same exact idea, which is 1, 3, major 7, 5, and that structure is in second inversion since the lowest note is the 5th. It all just moves down by whole step. And then again by whole step. Again. And one last time. And on this last E minor major 7, the last note he changes is to a C to get him back into the A-flat 7 world. What's so interesting about this concept is that it implies that we could take any 4-note melodic idea built from a 7th chord, in this case a minor major 7th chord, and by descending by step, we could quite possibly play that over any other chord structure as a way of playing outside the changes in a more polytonal way. This will add a lot of freedom to your improvisation, and I would say although it's very melodic, it comes from more of a harmonic concept. Since transcribing the idea a while back, I've tried exploring the concept using minor major 7 chords descending by whole steps and just picking different melodies. You could, for instance, go basically, any 4-note melody comprised of the minor major 7th chord could descend by whole steps and possibly sound pretty interesting. I found that the concept works really nicely with major 7 sharp 5 chords as well. Another interesting thing about this simple concept is that you could practice 2 iterations, maybe one starting on C minor major 7 and one starting on B minor major 7. And by going down whole steps from either of those starting points, you would get all 12 iterations of the idea, allowing you to utilize this idea in almost any way, starting on any note. I've found that a fun way to practice this is just to introduce it into any solo at any time and see if you can resolve it musically. It definitely creates a surprising and interesting effect and is a great way to introduce something creative to your playing. I'd encourage you to go that extra mile and come up with your own material to apply this concept to. Simply by changing the note order or outlining the minor major 7 or major 7 sharp 5 sound with a different shape or different melody and descending by step or maybe ascending by step, you could come up with your own way to utilize Charlie Parker's basic concept. This is Matt Otto. I'm a tenured professor at Kansas University. Thanks for listening. Please leave a comment and hope to see you on the next one.